Hello, it's Dale here. At the moment I'm back working with my water-soluble fabric. I love working with water-soluble. Although I have to say, the very first time I used water-soluble in a class, I broke about 6 needles and then I simply went home. So if you've worked with water-soluble and found it difficult, just bear that in mind. It's not the end of the world, and practice makes perfect, and the more often you do something, the better you get at it. Now, the water-soluble that I use is the clear, the film one. There are others that other people like, but this is what I like. It's called Romeo, because the ladies who invented it were into Shakespeare, and they had a Romeo, a Juliet, and a Verona. Romeo is the thickest one, and it's really the only one that's lasted now. And it looks at the moment like it's very clear, but at times I've had it where it's looked like this. And I know they always say to store it in plastic and out of the sun, etc. But you know, this particular piece has probably been lying around for about 15 years. It still does exactly the same thing. It's very firm. I actually really like this, but they don't make it this way anymore for me, much to my sadness. And so what I've done is, if you've never worked with soluble before, it's a really good idea to trap some stuff. So I've trapped silk fibres in here, and I'm simply stitching little circles. The silk fibres give you something to, I'll just bring up the bottom thread, dithering around on that one. So, and just stitching over the fibres, free stitching, feed dogs down, and you'll see that I'm working a lot in circles, but you could use other shapes. You could just do lots of zigzag. You could do anything that you like. The main thing in many ways is to make sure that the stitches link. It doesn't matter when you've got substance underneath, but if you divert off to here where there's nothing there but the film, you want to make sure that the stitches link up in some way so they don't fall apart when you pop it into water. Although sometimes the airiness and fairiness of it is fine. So that's what I've done here, and I would work all that, the whole lot up, and that's enough to do because it's just like watching grass grow. You can't hear properly sometimes. So a whole piece like so. And there's another one that I've done a part of, and what you can see in there are little bits of fabric and little bits of thread, and it's also actually something that I printed onto Romeo, because I do print on it as well, and it was left over, so I just popped it under there, and that will all disappear. Most of it will disappear, but I put little bits and pieces, and I always keep all my threads which I might put into that surface, and then stitch it all up, and then you can cut the shapes for other things, put them into other things that you might have. So in this instance, I've cut out some circles, and I'll take that one off, and I have just then got holes, cut the shapes out, when I can re-put those back onto something else as a 3D, put another piece of Romeo underneath, you can see it's just there, and then I'm just stitching across the holes in some way. So in this case, I'm just going backwards and forwards like so. And it's a great way to get a shape. And of course, if you are layering things and putting pictures underneath or other pieces, hand stitching and so on, they can pop up through there. So if I go around to this one, we'll just make a little like a little wheel inside. I've got that little bead in there when we've finished. I'll let you see what it looks like. So it's a spider web in a way going out there. So this is my sample piece, but I could use that. It's really quite fabulous now if we put other things underneath. And then I've got here, this is just a whole piece that I made the same way. You can see the fibres, and beyond I stitched the whole long piece, and then when I folded at the side, I joined these up with more, and then I made little dangles on the bottom of them while it was still on the surface of the Romeo. And it's you know, I always say this, it's just a little pocket book, or you could store something inside it. You could use it in one of your little books like I do, or you can wear it as a necklace if that's what you wanted to do. It's very soft now, but if sometimes I might paint it. You can keep this, what you have left over, the scraps, you can put them in a jar and put water in, and it makes a nice thickener that you can use to stiffen it. So I could re-stiffen that, or I could stiffen anything else that I'm stitching on that I want to work with. Now, last little thing before I go, I just wanted to show you, when I made this little book here, I made some little dangles, and I did those on Romeo. And then yesterday I just made another one by just cutting starting to cut little threads, so it's rayon, cotton, silk, whatever I had in these colours that I wanted. And then I've just simply cut out some shapes, pop them down and stitch them down, and when that washes out, it won't be the same as this because it's more contained, and I'll put little beads inside so it makes another nice dangly to go down there. So it's given you a few little ideas for working that way, which what I love to do. Then I'll see you again another time. Bye.